Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Fluently Podcast. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
Today, we're diving into a question that so many of you have asked us, how to be disciplined. And remember, vocabulary, words, and definitions awaits you at the end of our podcast.
Part 1, the struggle with discipline.
I don't get it. I plan my day, I make to-do lists, but somehow I never stick to them. It's like I have all these great intentions, but when it's time to actually do the work, I just don't.
Sounds like you're struggling with discipline, my friend.
Yeah, big time. Every night, I tell myself, tomorrow will be different. I even write down my tasks. But when the day starts, I find myself scrolling through my phone, watching videos, or just doing anything except what I planned.
Oh wow, that's super common. But let me tell you something. Discipline isn't about writing the perfect plan. It's about following through even when you don't feel like it.
That's my problem. I never feel like it. I keep waiting for motivation to hit me, but it never does. Or it lasts for like 5 minutes, and then I'm back to being lazy.
Oh, there's your mistake. You're relying on motivation.
Wait, isn't motivation important? I mean, don't successful people always talk about how motivated they are?
Not really. Successful people aren't always motivated, they just have strong discipline. That's what keeps them going when motivation disappears.
Okay, but how do they do that? Because I swear, the moment something feels hard or boring, my brain just screams, "Let's do this later."
That's called procrastination, my dear Mark, and it's one of the biggest discipline killers.
I know, and I don't even do it on purpose. 1 second, I'm about to start an assignment, and the next thing I know, I'm deep into a random YouTube rabbit hole.
Yep, that's how it happens. But here's the thing. Discipline isn't about feeling motivated every second. It's about having a system that helps you stay on track no matter what.
A system? Like a strict schedule?
Not necessarily. A system means having habits and routines that make discipline easier. Instead of depending on willpower, you create an environment where success is the default.
Okay, that sounds interesting, but easier said than done.
Of course. If discipline were easy, everyone would be productive 24/7. But the truth is, it's a skill, not a talent. You can learn it.
So what's the first step? Because right now I feel like I have zero discipline.
First, change the way you think about discipline. It's not about being perfect or never messing up. It's about being consistent and bouncing back when you fail.
That actually makes sense. Maybe I've been too hard on myself. I mess up once, and then I feel like I've failed completely. So I just give up.
Exactly. That's the all-or-nothing mindset, and it's dangerous. You don't have to be perfect, Mark. You just have to keep going.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. I guess I need to rethink how I approach discipline.
That's the first step. Now let's talk about how to actually build discipline. Ready?
Ready? But can I grab a snack first?
Sigh, Mark. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Part 2. Practical tips for discipline.
All right, genius. You've convinced me that discipline is more important than motivation. But how do I actually build discipline? Because right now, I feel like I have none.
I love that you're ready to take action. Okay, listen up. The first rule of discipline is stop relying on motivation. It's unreliable. Instead, make things automatic.
Automatic? Like, turn myself into a robot?
Sort of. Think about it. Do you ever have to motivate yourself to brush your teeth in the morning?
No, I just do it.
Exactly. That's because it's a habit. You don't waste energy deciding whether or not to do it. It's part of your routine.
So, you're saying I should turn my tasks into habits?
Yes, if you do something at the same time every day, your brain stops arguing with itself. It just becomes normal.
All right, let's say I want to study English every day. How do I turn that into a habit?
Good question. Start small. Pick a specific time. Let's say 8 a.m. Every morning at 8 a.m., you study for 20 minutes. No excuses, no, I'll do it later. Just do it.
But what if I don't feel like studying?
Doesn't matter. Discipline means doing it even when you don't feel like it. That's why you keep the habit small at first. It's easier to do something for 20 minutes than to force yourself to study for 2 hours.
Okay, I get it. Small and consistent. What's next?
Next tip, remove distractions. Be honest, what's the number one thing that distracts you?
Sigh. My phone. The second I pick it up, I lose track of time.
Yep, phones are discipline killers. If you really want to focus, put your phone in another room while you study.
But what if I need it?
Need it for what? Checking messages? Watching random videos? If you really need it for studying, use a website blocker to keep yourself from getting distracted.
That actually makes sense. Okay, so habit building and no distractions. What else?
Third tip, reward yourself. Discipline doesn't mean being miserable. You need to create a system where you want to stay consistent.
Ooh, I like this part. So I can treat myself after I study?
Exactly, but be smart about it. If you study for 30 minutes, don't reward yourself with 5 hours of gaming. Choose something small, a piece of chocolate, 5 minutes of your favorite song, or even just a mental good job.
What about social media? Can I reward myself with that?
Careful with that one. Social media is tricky. Part 3, the mindset shift.
All right, so I need to build habits, remove distractions, and reward myself. That all sounds great in theory, but what if I still fail? What if I wake up one day and just don't do what I planned?
Then you try again the next day.
But wouldn't that mean I've already lost my discipline?
No. That's the biggest misconception about discipline. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting back on track every single time you slip.
But every time I mess up, I feel guilty. I tell myself, well, I already ruined my schedule, so I might as well give up for the day.
That's called the all or nothing mindset, and it's dangerous. Just because you make one mistake doesn't mean you should throw away all your progress.
That actually sounds like me. If I miss one study session, I feel like I failed. And then I procrastinate even more.
Exactly. But here's what successful people do differently. They expect setbacks. They don't see failure as the end, they see it as part of the process.
So instead of beating myself up, I should just accept it and move on?
Yes, the trick is to focus on consistency, not perfection. Let's say you plan to study every day. If you miss a day, that's fine. Just don't miss 2 days in a row.
Oh, I like that rule. Missing one day is okay, but 2 in a row is dangerous.
Exactly. That's called the never skip twice rule. It keeps you from falling into bad habits.
All right, but what about willpower? I feel like I have none.
You don't need willpower all the time. That's why we build habits. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to fight yourself to do it. It just happens.
But what if I still don't feel like doing it?
Then you do it anyway. Here's another trick. Use the 2-minute rule.
What's that?
If something feels overwhelming, just commit to doing it for 2 minutes. If you tell yourself, I'll study for just 2 minutes, it's much easier to start. And most of the time, once you start, you'll keep going.
That's so simple, but I can see how it works. I always struggle to start tasks, but if I only have to do 2 minutes, it doesn't feel scary.
Exactly. The hardest part is always starting. But once you begin, momentum kicks in.
Wow, I feel like I've been looking at discipline all wrong. I thought it was about forcing myself to be perfect, but it's really just about staying consistent and not quitting.
That's it. Discipline isn't about pushing yourself until you burn out. It's about building small daily habits that add up over time.
So, no more waiting for motivation?
Nope, just habits, systems, and a commitment to keep going even when you mess up.
Wow, this changes everything. All right, I'm going to start using all these tricks. And if I fail?
You get back up and keep going? That's what discipline is all about.
Got it. Now, I just have to take action. No more excuses.
That's the spirit. Now go be disciplined. You've got this. Vocabulary, words, and definitions.
Discipline, the ability to control one's actions, emotions, and behavior to achieve a goal. Habit, a regular action or behavior that becomes automatic over time. Procrastination, the act of delaying or postponing tasks that need to be done. Motivation, the desire or enthusiasm to do something, often influenced by emotions or goals. Consistency, the quality of doing something regularly without stopping or giving up. Mindset, a way of thinking or a set of beliefs that influences behavior. Routine, a sequence of actions done regularly, often at the same time each day. Setback, a difficulty or obstacle that slows down progress. Willpower, the mental strength to resist distractions and stay focused on goals. Reward, something given as a benefit or encouragement for completing a task. Accountability, the responsibility to follow through on commitments or actions. Excuse, a reason given to justify not doing something, often to avoid responsibility. Momentum, the force or energy that keeps an action moving forward once it has started. Overwhelming, feeling too much pressure or difficulty to handle something. Perfection, the idea of doing something without any mistakes, often unrealistic.